Welcome to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Noethling. You are about to discover impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you, so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Be sure you visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now tune in, get ready, and enjoy the journey of emerging as a leader of exception in the 21st century.
Welcome, everyone, to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast. I'm your host, Vicki Noethling, coming to you from Roswell, Georgia. The goal of this podcast is to bring topics and guests that will empower you to become that confident leader and take your business and your life to the next level. Today, I am very pleased to have as my guest, Debbie Adams, and let me tell you about Debbie. So Debbie is a new author and has published her second book, Divine Promises. It's a biography of her life and how God remained faithful to her through his promises. Debbie has always loved to read and write as a young child. She remembers going to the local library every Saturday with her dad. Debbie lives in Middle Tennessee with her husband and tuxedo cat. I thought this title would be a great one for this episode of Being an Inspiration Through Writing Books. Please join me in welcoming my guest, Debbie Adams. Hey, Debbie.
Hi, thank you for having me on your show.
It is my pleasure. And I have recently just published another book. I guess it's a compilation book where I'm one of the authors. But I think that there's always that intrepidation about writing a book. So hopefully we can peel back the covers a little bit and you can share your insights. Let's start though with an easy question I ask all my guests, and that is, share exactly where do you live?
I live in Middle Tennessee, about 30 minutes from Nashville. A lot of people are familiar with Nashville. And so, the home and the country music, everybody, is familiar with that.
Yeah. I've been to Nashville now 4 times, all of them with a conference of some sort. And they had us busy the whole time for the first 3 times that I never got to go and hear any of my favorite country stars in any of those great bars and things. And then the last time I went was there was an outbreak of COVID. And so I was afraid to go and visit any of the bars. So I still need to go to Nashville to do that. So I'm jealous you're close.
Yes, you need to come back and visit some more, not on a business trip.
Yeah, I know. Just for the fun of it. Yeah. So we said that your new book is Divine Promises. Share with the audience a little bit more about the book and what inspired you to write that book.
Okay, first I will show a copy of my book. Let me see it.
And I will add a graphic for that at the end on my slide so they can catch that at the end too if they couldn't see it that well.
And what inspired me to write this book? God told me about 3 years ago that I needed to start writing. And so I wrote another book. My first book was how to have a healthy lifestyle. And it talks about how God has created your body in such a way. But he kept impressing on my heart that I have a testimony to tell. And I need to share my testimony and show how he walked with me through every aspect of my life that I've been through so far. And so that's what inspired me to write this book. And the title of it, Divine Promises, I chose that title because God is divine and his promises are promises that are kept. Because
Mm.
we as humans, we make a promise and, oh, something might come up. We won't be able to keep that promise. But God always keeps his promises. And so I talk about, I picked out 10 promises to put in the book. I'm sure about 8,000 more in God's word. I haven't ever counted them, but I'm sure there's probably that many. And one of them, well, my main testimony is the promise of healing. And my testimony is a testimony of faith when I got my cancer. And this month, I am 15 years cancer free.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes, thankful to the Lord for that. And I didn't have to go through chemo, but I did go through radiation, and he carried me through all of that. And after I finished my radiation, my husband at that time decided to leave me. So I not only had felt like a knife stuck in my chest when I found out I had cancer. And then when I was finishing up, and then, my husband left, and now I have a heart that is just shattered to pieces. And so that's what God was wanting me to share. He said, you have a testimony. You need to share, what has happened and how I carried you through all of that. And so that's a snapshot of basically what my book is about.
So it was your guidance that you should become an author. How difficult was it? How many times did you say to yourself, I can't do this, Lord? Help, talk to us about, what made you believe in yourself enough that you could write these books, both of them?
Right now, I have more confidence in myself than I did 3 years ago, because God kept impressing on my heart. I mean, I've got several friends that are authors, and I'm always buying their books, going to their book signing parties, and, I'm their biggest fan. And then through all of that, God said, you need to write a book and you need to become an author. And so, I didn't immediately, say, oh, okay, give me a piece of paper and let's write a book. And I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea about even writing a book. I mean, as a child, you mentioned earlier that I used to go up in the barn loft and I would write little stories that came up in my head, but that's different from writing an actual book. And so, yes, I kept saying, no, Lord, I can't do this. I have no idea about it. And it went on for several months, and probably a good 3 or 4 months. And so finally, I told him, I said, okay, I will do this. And I thought he just wanted me to write one book. And so I said, I will do this, but you have to show me how, because I have no idea.
Yeah.
And when you ask God to show you how, you better be prepared, because he will open doors that you have no idea how they got opened. So he put this lady in my life that I started following on Facebook. And it was during the COVID era. And so it was mainly political at first. And then I found out, that she was a Christian lady, and she had written several books. So I had bought one of her books, and she was going to have a book club. And then at the end of the book club, she said she always has a retreat. She lives in California. She said she always has a retreat to California, San Diego, after she finishes all of her book clubs. So, she talks on different subjects. And so before the book club was over, she mentioned to me, she said, I'm having the retreat in San Diego. She said, I want you to plan on coming. And so, when she said that, I thought, no, there ain't no way I'm going to California. And so after the book club was finished, then she sent out, put a post on her Facebook, and the book club, the retreat in California, the subject was going to be how to write a book, if you've ever wanted to write a book. And I thought, okay, God, okay, this is all you. And so I did, and I had never been on a plane by myself. I've always been on a plane with my husband. So that, he was taking me through all of that too. And, but I have to say that I'm not going to say my favorite, but one of my favorite promises is where God says that he'll give you the peace, in your heart. And on that plane ride, I was not nervous. I was not scared. I had this peace that was surrounding my body. And I know now that it was God. It was all God, because he knew I needed to be in that retreat. Yeah. And so it lasted for 2.5 days. And so I learned a whole lot about, the basics on how you write a book, how you create a book, and, and then write it, and then self-publish it on Amazon. And so, I came back after that. And even my friends that I worked with, they said, you came back a different person. Because God was, it was about 10 people, I think, that went to the retreat, and God was in that whole thing. And, because I don't know about anybody else, but I could feel his presence the whole time we were there. And so, and then I wrote the first book, and I self-published it. And, like I said before, I thought he just wanted me to write one book. It's like, okay, I wrote that book, I'm done. And then he comes back and he says, you're not done. I still want you to write. And he said, I want you to put more of your testimony, which I did a little bit of my testimony in the first book.
In the first one?
Yes. And he said, I want you to put more. And so that's when I went into more detail, about the cancer, my husband leaving. And I also got a chapter in there about my aunt getting cancer. And, and her passing away. And that was back in February. So she hasn't even been gone a year. And so, I talk about that and all of the, other life experiences that I've experienced. But through all, I guess, the past 3 years, God has really come, I'll say, face to face with me, because he has shown me in so many ways what he wants me to do. Not only speaking to my spirit and telling me, but just showing me by doors that have opened, people he has put in my life. And, he's always, not that I ever doubted, but he's always been there for me my entire life. And, he's giving me the peace that it's just unbelievable. Even myself, believing in God, sometimes things happen and you go, oh, that was you, God, that did that. Even though we know it was him. Yeah. But, I've done that a lot, in the past year. And then, when I started, writing Divine Promises, it brought back to my memory everything that was going on in my mind then when the things were happening. And then, God was showing me as I was writing, he was like, see, I was there in that. I was there in that situation, and I took care of you, with that. Because in my book, I write about there was a 2-year span where I didn't know what was going to happen next because it seemed like I was just in the valley. And, but God, promises that he will never leave us nor forsake us. And he never left me. And so, your show today is about inspiration. And that's my inspiration, that whatever you're, dealing with, God is there.
Did you have anyone that you shared the stories with as you were writing to see if it resonated with them? Or was it one of those things you just wrote it and self-published it and knew that those were the words that you needed to say?
When I started writing, I told my best friend what, God wanted me to do. And she was there during the cancer thing. So she already knew, what had gone on. And so I told her, I said, he wants me to put my cancer story in there in the book. And she said, yes. She said, I think, that's a good idea. And so, I wrote a little bit, and then, I texted her a snippet of what I'd written, and, and she's like, that's good. That needs to, and then from that, I went on and, finished writing the book. But yeah, I did see what other people were thinking.
Who helped you with the cover? Did you have to hire someone, or do you have those capabilities to create?
The first book, I self-published on Amazon, and I got my cover off of Fiverr.com. But this book, I got a publisher because I knew this book was going to be bigger than the first one. Yeah. As far as, reaching people. And so I wanted it to be done, not that self-publishing wasn't done right, but I wanted it to be done in such detail that
bigger market.
That it was almost perfect. And so, I sent the publisher pictures of what I was thinking, an idea for a cover, and then he sent it to his design team, and they came up with three. Oh, good. Three covers, and then I chose, which one I liked.
Yeah. And, so you still had creative. Very nice.
Yes.
And then, whenever you publish a book, you have to try to get it out there. You do podcasts and everything. Did you create a team of people to be like on a launch party? Like for my book, The Game Changer, we just had that launch this past week, but there were a bunch of us that went out there, social media and all this. Did you find some family, friends and things to help you promote, or did the publisher help with that?
The publisher did a little bit, but I put a lot on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all over. And, I put a pre-launch thing, it's like come in, save the date kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so the Kindle version of my book got put on Amazon first, and it went bestseller in 2 days.
Nice.
And because I published it on August 18th, that was a Friday, and that was actually, I published it on my birthday.
Nice.
And good birthday gift. And so it launched on Friday, and then by Sunday afternoon, it had hit bestseller rank on Amazon.
Nice.
So, I mean,
do you remember what category?
Let's see. It was in the faith categories, but I don't remember exactly. It might have been under the devotionals. I can't.
Oh, nice.
I seem to
that
think
would make sense. That would make sense.
Yes. So,
well, so you got inspired by God. You got led and encouraged throughout. You had people open doors for you. You found a publisher that helped you, got that cover art. You knew enough to pre-promote and then promote during, and got to bestseller. So you did all these wonderful things just from one inspiration. How many months did it take you?
It only took me 2 months to write the book. I think I finished it. Yeah, I finished it in July. It got published in August. And then I wanted to get, because he's put it not only on Amazon but on every online bookstore, as well as in Canada. It's in Canada too.
Nice.
And so I wanted to market it more, and so that's why I started doing the podcast.
Yeah.
And so, the whole month of October, I mean, it was booked with podcasts. And this month I didn't do as many, with the holiday, but I still had a few this month. And and I've had quite a few, sales, and I've also had, local sales too. People that are in town that know me, they'll buy straight from me. So
nice.
It's doing pretty good on sales.
You should try to also go to different churches and women's guilds and things like that they have at the various churches to speak on about the book. They're always looking for people to speak, and it would be great for you to share the words and the testimonies and things that you have in there. That would be an awesome thing. Another avenue for you.
Yes. I want to eventually, get to where I can go speak somewhere.
Yeah, that would be great. All right. It is time now for us to share my screen if you want to be able to get in touch with Debbie. And as I said, when this views the screen, the gift slide will be including a picture of the book so that you can easily find it as you're searching on Amazon. But of course, you can find it by just searching Debbie's name or the book's name. But we always try to make things a little easier for you. So I gave you enough time, if you're just listening, to grab that paper and pencil so that you can get this information for her website. If you're just watching, of course, you can take a screenshot. So I'm sharing the screen now. So for those just listening, the website is https://www.debbieadams.biz. That's DEBBIEADAMS.biz. On Facebook, you can search Debbie Adams, and on LinkedIn, you can search Debbie-Adams and a number. But of course, if you just do Debbie Adams and look at that beautiful face that you see here, you'll be able to find her. I'll let Debbie talk to you about the website, what you can find on it, and her other places of resources. Go ahead, Debbie.
Okay. You can go to my website, debbieadams.biz, and it has pictures of my books, and it talks about both of my books, a small description, and I don't have any links on my website yet to sell books, but it does tell you where to go, and you can go to Amazon. The first book is only on Amazon, but my second book is on Amazon.com, Target.com, Books A Million, and BarnesandNoble.com, and it's also at Chapters in Canada. And I have a message link on my website. If you have any questions, you can send me a message, and it also has my email address on there. And I would be glad to answer any questions you have about any of my books, or if somebody wants to start writing and they have no idea how to go about it, I'll be glad to help you with that as well. So go check out my book, and hopefully, you can buy it. And I think it would make, with the holidays coming up, I think it would make a great Christmas present.
That is so true. Debbie, it's been just wonderful hearing your story, and it was so inspirational. One last thing before we go, what of your most favorite books that you've ever read? Do you have a favorite book out there?
I like Karen Kingsbury. I've read I've read a bunch of her series, but she has to be, yes, my favorite author.
So Karen Kingsbury. So you guys out there, check out Karen Kingsbury. But of course, you want to just go to Amazon. Definitely check out Debbie's book. And again, that's Divine Promises by Debbie Adams. Debbie, as always, I remind everyone that life is a journey and it's up to you to enjoy the ride. This is Vicki Noethling signing off.
Thank you for tuning into the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Noethling, where we share impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Remember to visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast.